Good morning. Today is May 28th, I think. It's 2 days before Labor Day. I am on a trail in Vermont, and the first, I don't know, I've probably been doing this for about an hour now, is all uphill. So I'm out of breath and probably soaking wet. So that's what we're doing today. We're in a different area that's probably quite a ways due west of the Five Bogs area and all that. So where we were last week, we're further west than that, and it's going to round out our tour of the southern end of this whole greater region. And if you want to take a look at the region that we're in, you can see it's good habitat, thick undergrowth and all that, so there is that potentiality. I'm not going to keep this long. I'm not going to keep my sunglasses on. They're already fogged up. You won't be able to see a damn thing in here. So that's what we're doing today. Let's come back to me. And as always, thank you for watching. Our hope today is to hike to a pond that's on the way through here, if it's not all uphill. If it is, then we'll do what we can. And we're going to take it from there. The weather is also a factor today, too. They're calling for hail later, so we'll see where that goes. But that's it. We're going to get moving, and we'll do reports along the way as we go. This is going to be more of a trail kind of a thing, but we will report in as we can. So far, I have my Zoleo fully set up now, and it is working. That's also a plus worth mentioning. I have a satellite GPS communicator if anything goes awry in here. I'm going to stay on the trail, though, because it's my first time in here, and it does go a ways. So if I did the whole loop, we'd be covering 22.6 miles. I don't know if I'm doing that yet. That's going to be weather dependent. But again, we're going to get moving. Enough yapping, and we're going to keep going. Thanks. Okay, so we're back, and since we've hit a plateau where we're not going uphill and you don't have to hear me huff and puff, we'll do a segment here. So this is actually an adjoining trail of the Southern Long Trail in Vermont. And my original plan was to hike the whole loop, but weather has included the H word later, which is hail, and doing 20-something miles being bombarded about the head with ice pellets is not, I don't know about you, it's not really that appealing to me. So we're going to go in. It's currently about, it looks dark in here, but it's a cloudy day and we're under some fairly dense forest cover, so it's very zen, very green. We are we've been going for an hour and change, I think. Not covered as much ground as I'd like because a lot of the initial part of the trail is very uphill. Hopefully this is going to plateau for a while. If I do a out and back kind of thing, then I guess the good news is all that uphill is downhill on the way out. But we'll see how long we're going to go. I have no pressing obligations to get home particularly early, so I guess we're doing this as an endurance contest. Endurance test, rather. Not really in competition with anyone. And to the likely female that lost her hat along the trail so far, sorry you lost your hat. It's not far from the trailhead. As I said in the intro, there's a pond a ways in. It's not actually raining, the wind blew, and all the wetness on the top of the canopy is coming down on me right now. But we'll see how far we're going to go. But I don't think this is going to be an overnighter, although I packed my pack such that if A, I change my mind, or B, I get turned around or have a mishap, I do have on me the means of obtaining water. I have food. I have a cooking system. and my camping hammock and an emergency blanket or two if I had to spend the night unexpectedly. I also have, again, my satellite communicator if I literally needed to press the dreaded send the helicopter button, although I'd be hard pressed to figure out how the hell they'd find you with a helicopter in this. Basically what we're dealing with, if I point directly up, kind of thick in here. So that would probably not be the easiest operation. So we're gonna kind of do this as a roving banter, I guess, today. Saving battery for the pond if we actually get there. I didn't really, there's signage, I'm assuming, if I'm on the right trail. If not, I'm not going to get lost. I'm going to just backtrack on the trail that I'm on. But I think there's signage for the pond if necessary, but I'm going to do like a roving banter to save battery for that. Looks scenic, so we'll do that. If it's not crazy windy or stormy, we'll try to get the drone out, have a look at the pond as well. But for now, I call segment break, and we will be back as events warrant. And we're back. We are at a place where we've come out on a string of power lines. As you can see, the fog, we're up there. We're now probably at the hour and 15-minute mark. We've covered, according to the sign we passed, probably about 2 miles. I'd normally make better time than this, but it's all friggin' uphill, so I am going at a slower pace than normal. The weather is basically proving true to the forecast. It's basically on and off, like drizzly rain all day. It is what it is. So, why not a good day to hike? We're looking down on the townsfolk way down there. Another reason not to do the loop proper all the way through is I have to walk along the road to get back to the trailhead, and they're doing construction and there's a good deal of traffic, so I'm not really sure that's the best way to go. So it's going to be an out and back kind of thing. I'll try to get to the pond, but it is slower going than normal just because of the constant uphill. So we're going to do what we can. It's a different hike, different area, so not a bad hike. We're just doing a little bit more of a trail thing today. Those are my thoughts at the moment. The wind is kicking up. I'm also not going to fly the drone here for obvious reasons. You can see the power lines there. Not a good idea. So we're going to keep going. I may try to fly it at the pond if we get there and the wind isn't crazy like this. If the wind is crazy, well then, that's kind of life. So we're going to get going again, and we will be back in a bit. Okay, we're back, and we are probably somewhere just north of the 2-hour mark now. We are on kind of a downhill thing now, so we've gone over some portion of the slope. We have not hit the pond yet. We have gone through a rain downpour. It's still kind of spritzing on us, although the sun looks like it's trying to come out again. I put out a couple of vocalizations for bleeps and giggles because why not? You are in thick-ass undergrowth, so I mean, the habitat's here. That's not to be taken. This trail is very reminiscent of one back in Connecticut, and it is not a trail you can trail run through. It's like very foot placement focused, and if you try to trail run through this, you'd kill yourself. It's a lot of these little roots and things in the last couple of, I'm just going to use the generic term of miles because I don't really know my distance I've covered, but it's swampy in places, it's rocky in places. You're going over logs in some places. The trail itself is, they call it moderate on all trails. Moderate in some places. In some places it is a downright pain in the ass. So people have been created as being able to do this entire loop in 10 hours and 35 minutes. I find that to be incredibly optimistic. I'm going, again, just to make the point, you're walking through this kind of shit. So you have to kind of, you can't just trail run through this shit. You actually have to kind of go and watch your foot placement, and you're not really able to take in the scenery because you got to watch your feet or you're going to kill yourself. You have to kind of walk with care. Anyway, in Bigfooting news, there's not really a lot going on this week. The neighboring group continues to have their amusing fascination with the Bridgewater Triangle, where the odds of actually having something going on there are, in my humble opinion, until proven otherwise, nil. I just don't bother getting into arguments in that group because they're not researchers. They are, in my opinion, fanboys for a large part. There's a couple of researchers in there and a few people I respect, but they are fanboys, and the group panders to the fanboys. So they are not, there's no point in getting into a pointless argument with people that desperately want to believe when it's got nothing to do with belief. Simply put, Sasquatch is either there or he's not. And he's not going to fade away into the mist of time if you stop believing in him. Anyone who tells you that is one of the douchebags in the community that is polluting the subject with New Age bullshit and the woo. And yes, I have friends that believe in that stuff. But the fact that they are gaining ground in the situation dooms it to never be taken seriously. And you're basically feeding the cash cow that people are exploiting, because the ones that are making money off this, they don't want the mystery solved, because that demilks the cash cow, and that doesn't help their bottom line. But I mean, boo-hoo. I have a different agenda. I want to see it solved, and I go into fucking places like this in order to try to solve it or find evidence and the like. And I offer no apologies for that. And for all the lovely woo enthusiasts who try to tell me I'm doing it wrong, you know, all I can say in return is enjoy your pareidolia photos of bullshit, because you know that's, deep down, you know that's exactly what that is. You are a peddler of bullshit, and I'm not going to waste my time on that. I'd rather deal with what's real. And again, I can say that I have. It's actually smoothing out for a while. Maybe I can make some fucking ground now. Pardon my French. The potential, that's nice, right in the mud. The potential for a pond, though, is there's a stream coming up here, so maybe that's running into the pond. We can hope. I've already made, going down here, oops, there's a stream going down there. I've already made my peace. If I don't make the pond, they're projecting hail later in the day. I'm not going to. If I can avoid being in that on foot, I'm going to. If I don't, we'll do what needs to be done, hunker down, etc., whatever. Get pummeled unconscious, I don't know. I've never been out. I've never been caught out in like major hail before, so we'll have to deal with that as we can. Hunker down and fucking put my pack over my head and pray I don't get pummeled unconscious or something. But so here, I need to figure out where the bleeping trail goes, though. Hold on. This is a nice little campsite, but where does the fucking trail go? If I lose the trail, this is where we turn around, because I am not getting lost this far out. And I have temporarily lost the trail. On camera, no less. Oh, it's over there. I gotta cross this shit. That's what I was kind of hoping to avoid, but apparently that's not on the agenda. Not on the agenda. So I'm going to take a segment break here because I got to figure this out. And it's probably not as hard as I'm making it, but we're going to do that, and we'll be back in a bit. Well, we're back, and we are, what are we on now? Hour 4. I've honestly lost count. More trail. We're not back yet. We did get past the power lines. We passed the first time, so we are sort of kind of in the home stretch once we start doing a darn hard downhill. That's why I'm talking now. I guess we're going to probably wrap up about now. I'm doubting the veracity of the sign that indicates ingress to the pond. If you can't hit that in 3 hours of hiking, I submit to you it's probably on a different trail. And I suspect I know which one it was, which is false advertising in a way. I'm not amused by that. But all things said and done, from a hiking standpoint, when we get back to the car, we will have probably covered collectively I've all been out here for about 6 hours, believe it or not. It's raining again, although not as heavy as before, but this could turn into a downpour at any point. No hail yet, thank God. And we'll cover, I'd rather be in the car for that than here, but amount of miles in at that point, they say you can do 10 miles. I mean, 10 hours, 10 and a half hours, I covered, what, 6? Rude interruption by a hiker passing by, so I found one person. Guess he had things to do and places to go. Yeah, so all things said, I guess I covered if I did probably about 1.5 miles per hour times 6. What's 6 times 1.5? Is that like 9? So 9 miles. So I mean, not quite halfway, but a good chunk of this lovely trail. So that being said, we're about to do a hard downhill at some point in the not so distant future. So I'm going to wrap this up here. A little bit of a different kind of video today. Like I said, the day turned out to be a little bit less than par than I thought. Otherwise, I might have been more open to camping out. Preferably not with that asshole, since he's a bit of a dick, but anyway, we're going to wrap things up here. Like, comment, subscribe, all that YouTube nonsense, and we'll catch you next time. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you later. Peace.